So it's day 35, and in the last 4 to 5 days I've identified something quite interesting, and that would be that emotions get stuck in the physical body. I've read that this is the case, and I've heard from other people that this is the case, but I've never had any direct experience of it. And the experience I have is that when I feel... Oh, there's a car coming. When I identify a blockage, a physical blockage in my gut, then I've started to notice that there's like a memory or a emotion associated with the blockage. And the way I've discovered to get things moving is to do breath work. Now, I found a really powerful breath work online. I'll put a link to it in the video description. If anyone does it watching this, please do it and let me know what happens if you do it, because it is very strong and potent. So the other day I noticed I had a blockage in my upper gut, like in the top part, like here, and I couldn't get rid of it. It wouldn't go away, and I could feel it there, and that's been causing me a lot of problems. It seems to block my diaphragm from breathing, so I've never been able to get like a full breath. And I did this breath work the other day. It takes about an hour, and I had this insanely powerful emotional release, is the best way I could describe it. It was like a very psychedelic experience. And the next day I eliminated some smelly mucoid plaque, and I felt the blockage, I felt the place where the blockage was, and it was gone. So the conclusion that I've come to is that some of these blockages are not entirely physical in nature, but are in fact spiritual and emotional blockages that have manifested themselves in a physical way. So this experience is as much of a physical one as it is a spiritual one. And I didn't really have that experience last time. I think the first time I did this long fast, I was so fucked that there was no time to address the emotional problems, I guess, because my body was just in emergency repair mode. So the first fast was me learning how to become my own doctor, and this time it seems like I'm learning how to become my own therapist, because for the last sort of 4 or 5 days I've really connected to that method of, or I don't know how to say, really connected to that way of cleansing. So I've started really identifying, or started making the correlation that a lot of these blockages are not going to clear until I address some stuff in here. And for the past 4 or 5 days I have been doing that, breath work and meditation, and I'm making crazy progress in the last 4 to 5 days. I felt like it got a bit stagnant for a few days, and then once I learned that, it's just started opening up again. So I really am learning to be my own therapist. I feel like that's the greatest thing about doing these juice fasts, is you learn to not have to look outside yourself for help, or not so much help, but for healing. You sort of learn that you can do it all yourself, all of it. I also don't think I would be making such progress if I wasn't taking the time to just sit with myself without distraction. So we live in a society where everything is trying to distract us at all times, and I really feel like most of the problems, or I'm learning that most of the problems that we have as a society are due to the fact that nobody's able to address these underlying issues that they have, due to maybe an unwillingness or just a constant influx of poisons, because it's really hard to sit with yourself when your body is in a state of dis-ease, because it's uncomfortable, and we've all got these acids inside of us that make it difficult to just relax and consult ourselves. So we just constantly look for distraction. Think about the typical person. They wake up, they eat their breakfast, they rush off to work, they're at work all day, they come home from work, and then instead of just sitting with themselves and reflecting on things, most people turn on Netflix or do anything. No one seems to be willing to sit with themselves. And I understand, because it's difficult and boring, because we've all been trained to be addicted to these little dopamine hits. Like when you're scrolling through Instagram and you've got those short little reels, and sometimes you get caught like scrolling through it for like half an hour before you even notice. And what that's doing is training us to be addicted to these short little bursts of dopamine. So we become conditioned to not be able to be comfortable without these little pleasure hits. And that's the same with everything. Food, drugs, alcohol, all of it is there to sedate us and make it difficult to consult ourselves. Because I really feel like if everybody had the time and the willingness to do that and really put in the work, then we wouldn't have the problems that we have in the world, because everybody would be comfortable with themselves, which means that there wouldn't be any outward manifestation of violence or hatred or war or any of that stuff. Like, the reason we have all these problems, so when you see like a person starting a fight with someone in the street, they're getting angry, but that's because of their inward anger towards themselves manifesting in an outward attack on somebody else, which wouldn't be the case if we as a society took time to sit with ourselves and really work out our own shit. After I have one of these revelations or one of these releases, I feel so peaceful that I can't imagine that there would be a world where if everybody felt like that there would be the problems that we have. It just wouldn't be like that. So this really might be the solution for peace. Well, think about it like this. What do most people do when they get some bad news or something bad happens to them? Well, the people I know, and what I would have done before, would be to go to the pub, or just get drunk, or let's go get some whatever to distract ourselves and suppress it. What you really should do, I think, is go and sit on your own quietly for a day and have no distractions around you, and just really focus on the bad news or the bad thing and just work it out. Become okay with it, become comfortable with it. Because if you suppress it, what you're doing is you're not getting rid of it in any way. What you're doing is getting it stuck inside your body, and then one day it's going to have to come out if you ever decide to detox, or you're just going to live with that suppressed feeling for the rest of your life, which is definitely worse. It really is. But we don't do that. We don't get taught about that. It's not something that's normal for most people, but it should be. And I really believe that's the only way. You can't go through your life avoiding negativity, which is what I tried to do for a long time. And I feel like that's what most people are always doing, all day, every day, to be honest. I really feel like that's like the foundation of our society, is running away. Physically, I'm still just drinking grape juice and watermelon juice. Haven't had anything else. Still 4 to 6 litres every day. Still doing a lot of exercise. Less lately, actually. The last week I haven't. It's like I don't feel like I need to anymore. Don't feel like I need anything at the moment. It's nice. I'm sure I'll get back to it, but at the moment I think I've been focusing too much on physical exercise, when what I really should be doing is focusing on breath work and relaxing my body and letting it detoxify itself without causing stress. I feel like that was something that I was doing that I shouldn't do anymore, for a bit anyway. I'm just going to really focus on detoxification and breath work and abdominal massages, so that really helps to massage the colon. I can feel that I'm breaking things loose and stuff, so that's really cool. And I really feel like the only reason that this has taken me so long is because it took me so long to begin to address the spiritual problems, but you know what I mean. And if you do a juice fast, there's nowhere to run. You can't go to the pub, drink alcohol. can't suppress it with food. There's none of that. It's just right in your face. Here it is. Deal with it now. And that's really cool, because I'm starting to feel less like I need anything to be content. So I spend a lot of time lately doing what looks like nothing. If you put a camera in the corner of my room and then filmed me and watched it back, it would look like I was just doing nothing. But it's not like that. I'm just content with nothing. Quite happy just to experience being, which is not something I ever thought I would ever say. So nothing else to add, just that new discovery of why everything's taken so long, or maybe not even that. Maybe I just have so much built up shit from years of suppressing it with drugs that this is just the natural process. But it feels very positive and it feels like extreme progress. So that's good.